I'm gonna be a photographer, and then 5 years, it's like, yeah, another freaking wedding. It's like it's so it doesn't have to be soul crushing, but you have to control that.
Workflows is a podcast about saving you time and money in your photography business. I'm your host, Scott Wyden-Kifowitz, a photographer and content creator who struggles with dyslexia, color blindness, introversion, and anxiety stemming from years of being bullied as a child. Guess what? Workflows have been my rock. I have workflows for every aspect of my life. That's why I am so happy to bring you Workflows, a podcast presented by Imagine. As a company dedicated to saving you time and money in your photography business, it makes sense to enhance and expand the conversation to all things workflows. Tune in and subscribe to hear stories, strategies, and tools that can be your rock. Hear from people just like you. Get to work with Workflows. Hailing from Mexico, Fer Juaristi has always been creative at heart, beginning in music as a drummer, then falling in love with photography. He approaches wedding photography with the aim to blur the personal and the artistic. As Fer experiments, he brings other photographers along for the journey with his educational content and his workshops. Fer is also one of our talents here at Imagine, with the talent AI profile Tiara. If you haven't heard of Fer or seen his work yet, you're in for a heck of a treat. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Fer. Hello, Fer. How's it going?
Hey, Scott. All good, my friend. Living la vida loca here, man.
That's right. I'm really excited about this conversation. I have been wanting to get you on the show for quite some time, and I'm glad not only did we make it happen, but it was pretty much a 5-minute, hey, are you interested in being a guest? And you're like, let's do it. So we're here. We are here.
Yeah, life goes fast, man. So if you say no to opportunities, you get lonely, man, and just start crying with Bon Iver songs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you deep? You got to be deep in the wedding season right now.
I'm happy with this because I have like a 6-week free season that I'm doing a few editorials and content for education, but 6 weeks without weddings, so it's like half of my year, and it's weird, but I'm happy with that.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to. I mean, you've got obviously different businesses models going on and different things, so it's good that you're structuring it the way that's keeping you sane.
Yeah, well, with 3 kids, 2 dogs, 1 awesome wife, and enough weddings to provide for them, I'm more than happy.
Awesome. So let's dive right in. The first question is the same question I ask every guest, and that is, what is one thing that you do for the photographic process? This is behind the camera that has saved you time.
Okay. Well, I think for me, I shoot everything on black and white. That's what I love about mirrorless cameras, that I can see the world in black and white. And for me, that's magical because it removes all the distractions. I don't have to take care about white balance or this color or that. It just focuses me.
Yeah. So I do the same, and it's interesting. This has come up a lot in the Imagine community recently. We did a live stream with Sam and Lindsay Kohler and Ashley Ray were on it, and Ashley brought up the fact that she's shooting so she's a hybrid. She does film and digital together at her weddings, and she's shooting in black and white, and that stirred up a whole conversation in the community about people like, wait, what is this magic that you are doing? And so I've been doing the same thing for a long time. So it's nice to hear other photographers that also do that. It is worth noting for anybody who wants to go this route is this idea of shooting in black and white and then being able to edit in color only works if you shoot in RAW. If you do JPEG, it will not work.
Oh, correct, man. Yeah.
Disclosure. I'm curious. So you shoot in black and white. Are you the type of photographer that looks at the back of the screen to frame and compose, or are you still like EVF with your mirrorless?
A little bit of both, but yeah,
Okay.
thanks to the screen, you can get different angles and different perspectives. So yeah,
Yeah.
at the beginning, I felt when I started myself using more the screen, I was like, okay, I'm changing. Watch out. I'm not the classic photographer anymore, you know, because every generation of photographer has something that you have to break that mold. No, and for me, I remember it was at the beginning like everything's about the light, and then this generation came and who cares about the light? It's more about the emotions, and then it's about the composition, and then who cares? Let's break it. And for me, switching from viewfinder to screen, I remember feeling that I was like cheating, you know, like oh, this doesn't feel natural. But now I'm okay with it. You know, we have to be adapting and aging. It's a big part of the process. We cannot control it. So it's always good to see what the new guys are doing and then try to implement it.
Yeah. Definitely. So that's fantastic. What is now one thing you do for the business that has saved you either time or money? And let's not talk about Imagine yet because we will get to Imagine down the road. But for your business.
Okay, well, I use 17 hats to help me like create the contracts, generate the questionnaires, do the charging the big box, you know, the $10,000 million that I charge per wedding. That helps me a lot just to simplify. And I'm not one of those guys that if this happens, then this happens. You know, I'm not good at workflows. I still do everything by hand. But I feel like the brand looks more professional, at least. You know, but that helps me a lot just to simplify things. And there's so many options out there. I think it's good to find the one that it's not trendy, but the one that simplifies your process and you can understand it.
Yeah. You know, just because, you know, a 17 hats or any other CRM type tool that is out there exists and you're using it doesn't mean you need to use all the automation. You know, just using it for contracts and keeping track of your customers and payment and all that, that in itself is a huge time and money saver. Being able to add in any automation is just an added bonus for that.
And the other one as well, like using like online galleries that can allow you to sell without extra steps. Like I use like PickTime, for example, and then I just receive money, man. You know, without shipping, without sending, without taking care of the files. Album design as well. Like a lot of people are like very control freaks and they want to control every single spread. For me, I just simplify it for my couples.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. You know, simple sometime, depending on the photographer, depending on the person, simple is better.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to be a control freak. You know, I'm not the photographer that's gonna like pixel peep every single image. No, man, it's like it's freaking good enough. It has my stamp on it. Let's go crazy. Let's follow up. What's next? Yeah.
Awesome. And I mean tools like PickTime as well, which we're gonna get to more like after session type of just topics as well. But a tool like PickTime, it's so beautifully designed and offers so much that like your clients are going to have a wide range of products they can choose from, you know, and you know it's going to be printed well with any integrated labs and whatnot. So yeah, definitely a fantastic thing to do.
Definitely.
So again, besides from Imagine, let's dive into some editing. What is one thing you do now for the editing side that has saved you time?
Well, I think my magic formula, it's been since almost I started my career. I export all the JPEGs and I still use Exposure. It's an app. And I love that. It's just like a batch process for color, batch process for black and white, but I received so many comments from photographers like, why your images look sharper than mine, or the skin tones, and it's one click button using exposure after using all Lightroom and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's one app that I know about from over the years. It's one app that I've never tried, and I've tried a lot of apps, but that's one I've never tried. And I think I don't know why, but it gets brought up a lot lately. So I think I'm gonna have to try it just to see what everybody keeps raving about.
Yeah, the other one I still use, it's a Photoshop script. It's called Code and Hustle, so it helps you run some actions instantly. So when I export for slideshows or for Instagram, it adds sharpen for web, the one I want, not the one that Lightrooms have, and it makes the files that they're smaller files, so
yeah.
But still, like, running the kind of sharp that you want, it's extremely important, not the normal one.
Interesting. Yeah. So again, so that one I've never heard of, so I'm definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, they're a small company from Canada.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. Okay, so we've talked about photographic, we've talked about business, we've talked about a little bit of editing. Now, what is one thing you do after a session? You've done the couple, the family, the wedding, whatever it is. You've gone through, you've edited it all. What is one thing you do after all that stuff, after the session, after it's all edited, that has saved you time or increased business or anything like that? What is one thing you do after a session?
Well, what helps me a lot, it's try to be quick on my deliveries. So like sending like a sneak peek, it's gonna bump your momentum. So for me, it's usually the same day or the day after. I try to have a few sneak peeks on Instagram, and I send them directly as well on their mobile phones as well, and that helps a lot. And then controlling the narrative as well. For example, I see that a lot of people, they call their images like they go the ones that are worth it, and then they start to remove the bad ones. So for me, I always go to the gold first. The ones that have my signature, my stamp, those are the ones that I want them to remember. Because I'm the boss. I know there's their wedding, but I say, like, these are the memories that are worth it. So a lot of people, I think they want to please their clients, and everything has become the client experience. Yeah, it's okay, that stuff. Sorry, but I think we have to see ourselves as artists, as creators. They book us because of how we see things, not because we have the trendiest or the fanciest camera. And we have to remember that 24/7.
So when you deliver the sneak peeks, are you asking for them to? I ask the same question to everybody who brings up sneak peeks. Are you asking your clients to reference your photography business, or are you just letting them do their thing and hope that they reference your photography business?
Yeah, no, I don't ask them for me to tag me or to say thank you. It will be asking a favor, if they love my stuff, if they pay me already, that's enough. That's enough for me. Yeah, I'm not going to say, hey, here are the 5 steps that you have to follow after I deliver. Like, no. You own those files, go bananas, man.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, we're going to dive into a section where you are going to pick a color.
Oh, okay. Let's go orange or yellow.
Orange.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Now, I am going to shuffle through these cards, and you're going to tell me when to stop.
Shoot, that's like a magic trick. 1, 2, stop.
Okay. The next question is... oh, you're going to have a good answer to this. I know you will.
Let's see.
If you could try out a job for a day just to see if you like it, which job would you choose?
I think it will be something to do with video games, like a video game tester or something like that. Yeah, I love that industry. I'm obsessed with it, with the creative process, because it's a business, but at a passion at the same time. So I always relate it a lot with photography. So yeah, it will be something related, like a day at Nintendo.
Nice.
Yeah.
It is. It's funny. I actually have a photographer friend that. I'm. My favorite thing to do in photography wise is landscapes. I mean, that's my zen zone. Put me on a landscape, I'm good. Just leave me alone and let me sit on the edge of a mountain and photograph it. I'm a very happy person. This one friend of mine, he's in my like photo travel group where like we all get together somewhere once a year. Hasn't been in a while, unfortunately, and like, well, it'll spend a week and photograph wherever it is. And he is a part-time photographer doing some client work, but he's also a full-time game tester.
Nice. Nice.
So he gets to do it from the comfort of his gaming setup at home. And I don't even know what company he works for. I don't think he's allowed to say, but he tests games for a living. So
beautiful, man. Yeah. Like
definitely
one time,
a cool job.
Yeah, a few years ago, I photographed a wedding in San Miguel de Allende of a person, a bride who works at Nintendo, and she gave me a lot of stuff, man. So I was so happy.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Speaking of travel, you travel a lot. You've been all over the world, photographed, spoken at events, things like that. Where is your favorite place to travel, and where is your favorite place to photograph your clients?
Well, it has happened in a weird way, because sometimes you can be in the most beautiful, exotic place, and the couple are not into each other. They're feeling the pressure of the day. So I 100% prefer a shitty place with an awesome couple than the opposite. You know.
Yep.
So, but like answering your question, like the most exotic and beautiful place that I've been, I think it's one time I was in New Zealand. Photographing a video game reviewer and a photographer couple. So for me, that was magical. That wedding for me gave me like a lot of wings, you know, like when you receive an inquiry and you're from Mexico and they're telling you, hey, come over to my country to photograph my wedding through a Flickr group. You know, you don't think you're like alive. You think you're dreaming. So
right.
I remember that wedding a lot, and I still keep in touch with them. So for me, that was like a before and after. Yeah, and as well, like you have doing destinations. It's not for everyone. It sounds super romantic, but at the same time, you have to work with jet lag. I have slept with my couples the day before their wedding, you know, because my hotel room wasn't ready. So there's a lot of things to consider. So nowadays I prefer more working at Mexico and Mexico and with international couples.
Yeah. I wish that I knew you 12 years ago.
Well, you might not like my pictures 12 years ago.
Oh boy. So for those listening and watching, my wife and I got married in Riviera Maya, Mexico, where I even think that looking at your portfolio, I think you have photographed at the resort where I got married, right? Yeah. So
I might, yeah.
Yeah. So it would have been so nice, but unfortunately, I didn't have a wide selection of photographers to choose from at the time.
Let's do about renewal, a 15-year about renewal, man. Yeah.
My wife and I have been saying, we said at our 10-year anniversary, we'll go back with kids, whatever kids we had. That has passed. So now we're aiming for the next couple years, probably like the 15-year anniversary. We're going to get back, bring our kids. Because that resort specifically actually has a like a daycare type of thing and like a kids area and stuff. So it really would be good to bring the kids back to that resort. So when that happens,
Yes, I'll send you the contract in a few minutes.
yes, yes. Okay, so the next question I have for you is we're gonna dig a little deep. Can you share an outline breakdown of your workflow from lead to delivery, looking in like 30,000 foot view down? A nice little bullet breakdown of things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I try to answer as fast as possible, and I send customized links on my pricing. So I don't send a generic PDF or a generic link. If they say my names are A and B, I create a ferjuaristi.com/proposals A and B. So I have their names, I have their dates, I have the city of where they're getting married. If I have photographed there, I send them slideshows of the venues that are close by, and then I send them the collections. Okay, so for me that's extremely important. I want them to feel like these guys taking care of us, because I shoot between 20 to 25 weddings per year, so I allow myself to treat them like humans and not like freaking numbers. Yeah. Right. So if I am in the range of like price and artistry, the next step will be to have a Zoom. I use an app called I don't know if you know of it. So in the same, I use a template with their freaking names, and so everything's like, oh, he's the same guy. And I use a lot of GIFs and F-bombs during our consultation, because I want them to see, okay, am I able to take care of this guy for the next 12 hours on my wedding day? Is he a good human being? Can I relate with him? For me, that's extremely important. It's all about, are you sure you want to book me, instead of please book me. Right. They see full weddings, slideshows, and after that, it's just a contract. I ask 25% of whatever millions are gonna pay me, and then after that, I send them a few links with articles about how it's about to work with me. Like the importance of portraits, the importance of documenting without stopping for the picture to happen. About the delivery times. Please, you have to be extremely clear about how long does it takes for you to deliver your work. I see a lot of problems there. And then I just arrive 2 days before the wedding in case my airplane crashes, or not crashes, fails, or if it's or if it's
crashing,
or if it's canceled or anything. I like to arrive there. So the day before, I just take it as a Nat Geo assignment. I go and take pictures of trees and the ocean and the mountains and the people, because I wanna tell the story about the place as well. I try to meet them during the rehearsal dinner. Sometimes I bring my camera. Sometimes I just bring an empty stomach, because I wanted to say, hey, that's that guy. He's flesh and blood, and he's gonna try to create beautiful images for us.
But so, if you're not hired to also photograph that dinner, right?
Who cares?
And just to and you're there to just be a part of it. Now they're connecting with you outside of what they're paying you, which is actually going to make their wedding photography even better.
Yes, that's why I charge millions. So if I have to work an extra hour, who cares? And as well, there's a big difference in Mexico. Any other job, it's not paid by the hour. It's more like the States kind of things. So I'm not thinking about, they have to pay me extra hours, so give me your credit card. I don't feel like that. Right. I charge enough to take care of them. So then we go crazy. The wedding day, usually I feel bad on my stomach because of all the nerves. I want to really deliver something amazing for them, and so I feel insecure like a lot. there's always this experience. If I get to the bride and grooms getting ready and there's no music, I know there's something wrong. I feel the tension. Yeah. So I'm always trying to see how it's. I try to hug everyone so they can feel me, and then I just photograph without any directions until the portraits or the group shots. And yes, I photograph everything. People think that I don't do all the normal stuff, but I do all the traditional stuff. I just don't show it on my website or on my socials because I want to be considered the weird ones, Yeah, but it is what it is, But it's you control the narrative again. If you don't control the narrative, they're gonna be like, "Why are you so expensive?" I have 10 other photographers charging me less than what you're charging me. So
they're not hiring you for those traditional photos. They're hiring you for that unique shot that you get for all of your clients.
Yes,
and because that's what you're portraying. You're getting the clients you want based on what you're portraying on your site, and I think it's very smart.
Yeah, but it's obvious, but I see that a lot of people forget about that. So yeah, please take care of that. If you want to survive 10 plus years in this industry, that's always the goal, because at the beginning you see all this passion from the newbies. Yeah, forget about the cubicle. I'm gonna be a photographer, and then 5 years, it's like, yeah, another freaking wedding. It's like it's so it doesn't have to be soul crushing, but you have to control that. So yeah, that's what I keep teaching. Just to say, hey guys, please take care of this. It's not about showing off. It's about taking care of what's important.
Yeah.
And yeah, usually after I photograph, send them the sneak peek, and I say on contract that it takes me up to 3 months to deliver the final products, because I want to really enjoy that process as well. Or if I want to experiment with my post-processing, I can. Instead of, oh shoot, I have to deliver it. No. I like to take my time.
Yeah.
And then, yes, I send them sneak peeks, and then I wait a little bit, and then I send the slideshow, and then I wait a little bit, and then I send the full gallery, because I want them to see the important peaks, and then the story, and then everything else.
Awesome. You said something really interesting in the middle there, and I was actually very surprised by it, but I guess I shouldn't be. So you said that you get nervous and you get worried that I think you even said you might screw up or whatever it is. You're getting imposter syndrome, basically.
Yeah.
And that surprised me, just from knowing you from the outside. You and I have never met in person, which is going to change one day, but it's really, I was not expecting that. Can you talk a little bit about, like, have you always experienced, because I get it. I get imposter syndrome, especially when I speak on stage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think the process is ugly. Being in front of the camera, it's awkward. And then they're trusting in your artistry, but it's not science,
Right.
So you might get inspired because of a texture or because of the light or because of their chemistry, but sometimes you're off. So that's the biggest problem. And then shooting a wedding it's a marathon. It's long hours that you have to be in focus, like with the camera and with your brain, and then you have to anticipate what's about to happen, and then you have to create art between the chaos and between drunk people and bad lighting, so there's a lot of things against the creative gods. So you have to be solving problems, and then you feel in the back of your neck all your amazing portfolio images, and then am I able to go beyond those as well? So it's scary. That's why it's scary. And then you might not like them in person. Maybe you say a bad comment, and then people look at you like, shut up, man, you're here to photograph. So there's so many things against, like, for example, I don't like fancy restaurants. Like, I never go to a fancy restaurant, only on anniversaries, on my wife's birthday. But going to a wedding is like going to a fancy restaurant every weekend. So I feel like social anxiety as well. And I know that my camera, it's my shield. And so it's tricky for me. It doesn't come natural to create.
Yeah. It's what you were just talking about with social anxiety. So like one of the reasons why I don't photograph weddings on a regular basis myself is that I get that feeling at weddings. Like even as a guest, I always feel uncomfortable. I mean, I'm obviously very happy for whoever's wedding I'm at, but I've always felt uncomfortable from the perspective just of like, having to dress up formally. I'm not a big fan of that. And just like being surrounded by people that I don't know, and I don't know. It's just there's something about it. It's more of the introversion in me that that makes me feel uncomfortable at weddings. So I take on like one wedding a year, and it's usually something very, very special, or something very, very unique. So so I totally feel you on that. And I often get, when I do things that are high pressure like that, it's, can I deliver? Same thing. Can I find the creative aspect to deliver and be happy with it for myself, which will then mean that the client will be happy as well. But
that's the other thing, like knowing your weak points and then fighting them. That's the magic. Everybody knows their comfort zone, and like being in that place, it's never gonna make you a better anything. So that's one of the things that I keep shooting weddings after 17 years now, because you never know. You never know if you still have it in you. And for me, that's beautiful. And I have seen so many like generations of photographer that they're still rocking, and sometimes they're like, yeah, after 10 years I'm off, I'm done, I have to do something else. And then you see the new ones, and I love that. It's an amazing challenge, and also to be grateful because people are still seeing something special in your work as well. So that's magical, because between photographers sometimes there's a lot of respect. And they think that when you get to a wedding, there's gonna be like a band playing for you, and they're gonna feed you even better than their guests, And it's not like that, Nope. So I love that about weddings, like feeling like the underdog, and you're like, okay, let's prove all these humans that you can create something beautiful besides social photography, and let's show them, I love that. It's a chemistry. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a little techie for a little bit with the next question. What does the future of AI in photography look like to you?
It's beautiful. It's something that I think there's gonna be two leagues, like there's gonna be people who are gonna be like, yes, let's embrace it and let's go crazy. Like I saw a good friend of mine from Australia, Felix. I'll send you his Instagram link, and he did that, the before and after with AI and without AI. The thing is, like, it can be, they were like the purists, like, oh, everything's on the film and the grain, and it's never gonna look the same, and then boom, everybody's shooting digital, unless you are like Jose Villa, and those big dogs, and that's it. So disruption is good for humans. We need to see, we need to feel challenged, and I'm okay with it. I still haven't played with it, but I'm okay.
Interesting. I'm surprised you haven't played with it yet. I mean, maybe it's just a time thing, but it's interesting because Photoshop's new generative AI, for example, it's a lot of fun. Like right now, right now, like you legally cannot use it in your business, right? You're not allowed to, in theory, right? That's what the league their legal document or whatever says in the terms that
Wow.
it cannot be used for commercial work. So right now, it's in theory, it can only be used for having fun and enjoying it and trying it and whatnot. But it is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
A
no,
lot
no,
of fun.
I can see it. Yes.
Yeah. I just did a video on my own YouTube channel this week that me walking through and showing like it's the good, the bad, and the ugly with it. And I did one where I was having some fun. So it was I do a lot of proposal sessions, which are high pressure, of course.
Yeah.
And it was a couple on the beach here in New Jersey, and I put a snowman on the beach. Like I just selected an area and said snowman, and it looks so real.
Wow.
I mean, obviously that would never happen, but it looks so real. So
Olaf
yeah,
proposal.
Yep. So like stuff like that. But then I tried to replace. I have this stupid photo project that I do when I travel, where I photograph litter that is like somebody left it in a really interesting spot, and I'll photograph the litter and wherever the scene is, and then I'll throw the litter away. And I have one that was like I don't even remember, a coffee cup or something. No, something sitting on top of like a post. And I selected it and I said, replace it. It was a sock. I said, replace it with a bird. And it made a sock bird puppet. And I was like, that is not what I expected. And it didn't look real. So like the good, the bad, and the ugly, I showed it all. Okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Fer actually has a talent AI profile with Imagen. And it's not, I don't have our talent photographers on as much as I want to, and I'm glad you're here. And so the question I'm going to ask you is one that is fairly obvious because the impact that we have had in your life is pretty big, to the point where you partnered with us to create a talent AI profile. But with that all said, how did Imagen impact your life?
Well, it's the same as AI. At the beginning, you think that it's not possible, and you see your brain struggling to believe. You feel like nah, like you don't think it's gonna be possible. And then with 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a wife, I'm so grateful for it. You know, like yeah. I still go crazy with my favorite ones. I still tweak them because I want to feel like I'm an artisan, you know. But
yeah,
for me and my values, the pictures are ready to be delivered.
Awesome.
So I'm super happy with it. You know, I'm like yes, but I still do the 3-month delivery for my couples because I want to keep enjoying the process.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but so we've done a lot of events, a lot of conferences and whatnot over the past year, and that I'm sure you know, but I'm getting to the point. So at a lot of these events, we have a lot of photographers come up to us and say, we love Tierra, but it's just needs this tweak for my liking, right? Like people love your profile.
Too grainy.
But it's too grainy is a lot of them, right? Which is perfect for you, not always perfect for everybody else. And the thing was, until recently, there was no easy solution for everybody to make that change. And now we have so many photographers who had this issue where they love it, but they didn't love this, or they love this, and whether it's your profile or someone else's, now with profile adjustments, they can make that change. So,
nice.
For example, there's a lot of boudoir photographers that happen to be, raving about your profile that they just don't want the grain for their boudoir, so they take out the grain in profile adjustments. How beautiful is that? That now your editing style in Tierra, it can be used by even more people who didn't feel comfortable for whatever parameter reason, before.
That's magic. I have to watch a video of that because I saw the update, But then once I try to use it, I don't know what it is. So I have to watch the video on how to change before uploading. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. When we're done recording, I'll load up my screen and show you as well. But
like sometimes I try to use it afterwards. I was like, oh, shoot, I choose one, but they don't know how to. Yeah, I'm having a hard problem with it.
it would be like,
you're kicking ass, man. I'm like right now. I before this podcast, I was calling. I'm still with calling. I'm not a fan because I think people stop learning. You know, like by comparing images, like, oh, if I move an inch here, the images will be better. I stopped using like AI calling. I went by hand again, like because I forgot to learn.
Interesting. That's a very interesting perspective on culling.
Yeah,
very interesting.
And I shoot a lot, man. Every wedding I finish with more than 10,000 images. So I prefer to take it slow and then to be more analytic on the selecting.
See, that's interesting. Or a lot of photographers are trying to move towards AI as far as culling goes. You reverted just so you feel like you're learning from yourself.
Yes,
which is really cool. Really
because
cool, interesting.
When you see a hog, you know, like it depends on your values as well. Maybe you say, "Oh, I have a hog, check." But for me, it's like which version of this hog it's better.
Yeah.
You know, so you can see the body language and you can see the squinting of the eyes, and for me that's extremely important.
Yeah, I'm curious. Would that change when AI culling is extremely personalized, the way that editing is personalized with Imagen? Would your perspective again shift?
Yeah, I think I will give in a chance for sure. But as well, like on the workshops that I do, that's one of the exercises that we do. Like I show them the full contact sheet. I don't know if you have that book, a Magnum contact sheet. It's a beautiful book, man. And they show you that process. So for me, that still has to be on school or be taught.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Well, Fer, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, to share all of your different insights and getting a little deep with certain topics. Where can listeners learn more about you, connect with you, and of course, see your incredible photography?
Well, Instagram is the place to go. At Fer Juaristi, that's the place, and I have a Spanish-oriented Patreon. Everything's in Spanish, so it's not worth it if you only speak English. Or if you want to learn Mexican slang, I see you there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. I'm so happy you were able to join me, and including doing it so fast. It was so great that we were able to hop on so immediate and get recorded and get this out for the world. So
it's always it has to be like that, man.
Yeah.
We don't have to overthink things. It gets paralyzed by analysis. So nope, let's do it, man. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, brother.
Thank you so much, Fer, for that amazing conversation. I know there's so many takeaways that all the Imaginers listening to this have to fill their buckets with. So grateful that you took the time to speak with me. You have been listening to Workflows, presented by Imagen. To hear more from Workflows, to find links to our guests, and for an exclusive offer for Workflows listeners, please go to imagen-ai.com/podcast and be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.